All right, today we're going to journey deep into the ancient wilds to explore a classic Slavic folktale. It's a story about a man, a forest, and a really powerful lesson that, honestly, still hits home today. This is the tale of Ivan and the Forest Guardian.
So, to really get this story, you've got to understand the world it comes from. This quote right here, it just captures the old Slavic worldview perfectly. You see, the village, with its church and its fences, that was a little bubble of human order. But the second you stepped beyond that fence, you were in the wild. You were in an other world, a place where our rules just don't apply, and something much, much older is in charge.
So, who exactly is in charge in this other world? Well, it has a guardian, a spirit that's as ancient, as powerful, and as unpredictable as the forest itself. So, let's meet him, the Leshy.
So what is a Leshy? This is super important. He isn't some simple monster, and he's not a benevolent spirit either. He's basically the personification of the wilds, a true force of nature. He's not good, he's not evil, he just is. And just like nature itself, he's incredibly powerful and, he demands respect.
And his powers are, well, they're formidable. First off, he's a shapeshifter. He can be taller than the tallest pine tree or smaller than a single blade of grass. Second, he's the protector of the wild, herding animals almost like a shepherd. And third, and this is a huge part of our story, he's a master of illusion, a trickster who absolutely loves to mess with and disorient anyone who shows disrespect. A truly unpredictable force, right?
So, into this sacred and, let's be honest, dangerous realm walks our main character. And he's a guy who believes the laws of the forest, the rules of the Leshy, they just don't apply to him. Let's meet Ivan, the arrogant woodcutter. This line right here, this gets to the very heart of who Ivan is. For him, the forest isn't alive. It doesn't have a spirit. It's just a silent storehouse, a bunch of stuff waiting for him to take. He is the walking, talking picture of human arrogance in the face of nature.
And his actions totally prove it. I mean, look at this list. It's like a checklist for how to insult the forest guardian. He waltzes in without asking permission, leaves no offering of bread or salt, which was a huge custom. He sings these loud, awful songs, and get this, just for fun, he breaks young saplings. Every single action is a direct challenge to the Leshy's authority.
The forest, of course, was listening. You knew it would be, right? And as the sun hit its peak, this strange silence just falls over everything. The wind dies. The birds stop singing. This is the moment it all changes. Ivan is about to have a very, very chilling meeting.
So the encounter starts out pretty subtle. Ivan meets this guy who looks like a normal peasant, but the details are all, well, they're wrong. As you can see here, this stranger casts no shadow. His clothes are buttoned the wrong way, left over right, which was seen as unnatural. And his shoes? They're on the wrong feet. These are all little clues telling you he's in the presence of something from the other world.
And then comes the question. The stranger's voice, which the story says sounded like snapping branches, asks this simple but incredibly deep question. His eyes, glowing like emeralds, just stare into Ivan. This is it. This is the heart of the conflict. The taker being confronted by the guardian.
And Ivan's response? Oh man, pure arrogance. He just scoffs, completely missing all the warning signs, and basically declares his dominance over a world he doesn't understand at all. With those few words, he completely seals his fate.
And in that moment, the judgment comes down. The stranger reveals his true, terrifying form, and for Ivan, the world as he knows it it completely unravels.
For 3 agonizing days, Ivan is trapped. 3 days where the Leshy turns the forest from a place to be plundered into a terrifying psychological prison.
And the Leshy's method here isn't physical violence. No, it's all psychological torment. The paths start leading in circles. A familiar oak tree becomes this recurring landmark of his failure. He sees a stream flowing uphill, just breaking the laws of physics. And all the while, he hears the Leshy's laughter echoing, twisting his own cries for help back at him. His arrogance is being systematically and brutally dismantled.
So, stripped of everything, terrified and completely lost, Ivan finally hits his breaking point. And in that moment of pure desperation, he remembers the old tales, the wisdom of his ancestors, about how to appease the forest guardian. He realizes he can't fight his way out. He has to think his way out.
He performs this very specific and, kind of strange ritual. He stops running, takes his coat off, and puts it on inside out, and then he swaps his shoes onto the opposite feet. It seems bizarre, for sure, but there's a deep logic to it.
You see, this wasn't magic. By mirroring the Leshy's own wrongness, the backward clothes, the swapped shoes, Ivan was basically sending a message. He was acknowledging, okay, I'm in your world now. Your rules apply. I get it, and I'm willing to follow them. It was an act of complete surrender and, more importantly, understanding.
The ritual works, and just like that, the spell is broken. But Ivan's lesson isn't over yet. This whole experience builds to the story's powerful moral, a timeless warning from nature itself.
Before Ivan is allowed to leave, the Leshy gives him this final, crystal-clear warning. It's the law of the forest, spoken plainly. Respect the woods, take only what you need, and I'll be your ally. But take more, and you will never, ever find your way back. It's a perfect summary of the balance that has to be maintained. The lesson of the story really boils down to a simple cause and effect. Ivan's arrogance, that led to confrontation. His defiance, that led to judgment. And finally, his humility, that led to mercy. There's a direct, undeniable link between every single one of his actions and the forest's reaction. And the effect this has on Ivan is permanent. He returns to his village a completely changed man. His hair is white, his boastful nature is just gone, replaced by this heavy, somber silence. He carries the weight of his lesson for the rest of his life. He's seen the world behind the fence, and it has marked him forever.
And this all brings us to the final, crucial takeaway from this ancient tale. You know, Ivan's story is a powerful allegory, a warning passed down through generations, and it leaves us with a really provocative question for our own time. What happens when we, as a society, forget that the forest, that nature itself, has rules?